Opening, peace and happiness. Begin within. Welcome to Mindfulness, where we explore the art of living with presence, compassion, and joy. The first time I heard Thich Nhat Hanh say, "There is no way to happiness. Happiness is the way," it stopped me in my tracks. I had been chasing peace and happiness as if they were trophies I could earn through career success, relationships, or material comfort. And yet, even when I reached those milestones, the satisfaction never lasted. Something was always missing. Thich Nhat Hanh's teaching flipped the script. He reminded me that peace and happiness aren't rewards handed out by life when we win enough. They are seeds already planted inside us. Our job is to nurture them through mindfulness, meditation, and compassion. I remember one particularly stressful week at work. Deadlines were looming, my phone wouldn't stop buzzing, and my mind felt like a tangled ball of yarn. I told myself, I'll feel better once this project is over. But the truth is, the next project would bring its own wave of stress. That evening, I sat down, closed my eyes, and followed my breath, just as Thich Nhat Hanh teaches. In, I knew I was breathing in. Out, I knew I was breathing out. After a few minutes, I felt a softness return to my body. The chaos outside hadn't changed, but something inside had. American mindfulness teachers like John Kabat-Zinn and Sharon Salzberg echo this truth. External circumstances can influence our mood, but lasting peace comes from how we relate to the present moment. If we can meet this moment, whatever it holds, with awareness and kindness, we create the conditions for happiness right here, right now. Science agrees. Research from Harvard shows that our minds wander nearly half the time, and that mind wandering is linked to lower happiness levels. Mindfulness, the simple act of being here, pulls us back from that restless drift and grounds us in the life we're actually living. Peace from within doesn't mean ignoring the world's problems or pretending life is perfect. It means we build an inner stability so that when challenges come, and they always do, we are not swept away. We respond instead of react. We breathe instead of panic. We find space for compassion instead of anger. In this series, we'll explore how to nurture that inner peace and happiness through meditation, mindful living, and the practice of compassion, so that no matter what's happening outside, we can always return to a calm, steady center inside ourselves. The roots of inner peace. Thich Nhat Hanh taught that true peace doesn't depend on the weather of our lives. It's more like the ground beneath it. Storms will come, winds will change, but the earth remains steady. That steadiness is something we can grow inside ourselves, no matter what's happening around us. For a long time, I believed I would finally be at peace once the big things in my life lined up. More money, more success, fewer problems. But the finish line kept moving. Each time I reached one goal, another appeared, and so did new worries. It was only when I began to meditate that I understood what Thich Nhat Hanh meant by peace is already here, in each step, each breath. American mindfulness teacher Jack Kornfield tells a story about a man who spent years searching for the perfect place to meditate, quiet, peaceful, untouched by noise or stress. When he finally found it, he realized his mind still carried its own storms. The real work, Jack says, isn't to find a peaceful place, but to create a peaceful heart. Meditation is one of the most powerful ways to do that. You don't need a monastery or a special cushion, just a willingness to sit, breathe, and notice. Sit comfortably, close your eyes, and follow your breath. Inhale, I am here. Exhale, I am home. The mind will wander. That's what minds do. Each time, gently return to the breath, like guiding a child back home. Science confirms what meditators have known for centuries. Studies from UCLA show that regular mindfulness meditation reduces the brain's reactivity to stress and strengthens areas linked to emotional regulation. In other words, it doesn't just make you calmer in the moment, it builds resilience for the long run. Inner peace also grows through compassion, not just for others, but for yourself. Thich Nhat Hanh encouraged practicing metta, or loving kindness meditation, by silently repeating, "May I be safe. May I be healthy. May I be at peace." Once you feel grounded, you extend these wishes outward, to friends, strangers, even people you find difficult. The act of wishing others well softens the heart and deepens your own peace. Inner peace is not the absence of noise or trouble. It's the quiet strength that allows you to meet life as it is, without collapsing, without closing off your heart. When you cultivate it daily, you no longer wait for perfect conditions to feel okay. You begin to carry your own calm wherever you go. In the next part, we'll explore how mindfulness in small, ordinary moments, washing dishes, walking to the mailbox, drinking your morning coffee, can become the foundation for lasting happiness. Mindfulness in the small moments. Thich Nhat Hanh often reminded his students that you don't have to wait for a retreat or a special meditation session to practice mindfulness. In fact, the most powerful moments for peace and happiness are often hidden in the smallest corners of our daily lives. While washing the dishes, just wash the dishes, he said. For most of my life, I treated everyday tasks as something to get through. Washing dishes was a chore. Walking to the car was just a transition. Drinking coffee was fuel to get me moving. But once I began practicing mindfulness, these moments stopped being background noise. They became opportunities. One morning, instead of scrolling my phone while drinking coffee, I sat by the window and simply noticed the warmth of the mug in my hands, the rising steam, the bitter smooth taste on my tongue. That 5-minute ritual grounded my entire day. The coffee didn't change, my attention did. American mindfulness teacher Sharon Salzberg calls this coming back to the now. She says that mindfulness isn't about escaping life, it's about stepping more fully into it. You can do this while brushing your teeth, feeling each movement of the brush. You can do it while walking to the mailbox, noticing the way your feet meet the earth. You can do it while eating lunch, tasting each bite instead of rushing to the next task. Neuroscience backs this up. Research from Harvard shows that when our minds wander, thinking about the past or future, we tend to feel less happy. But when we focus on what we're doing right now, even if it's something simple, our sense of contentment increases. The beauty of practicing mindfulness in small moments is that it builds a habit. Every time you bring your attention back to the present, you're training your mind to be here instead of drifting into stress or worry. Over time, these small pockets of awareness weave together into a steady foundation of peace. Thich Nhat Hanh often compared it to planting seeds. Each mindful breath, each mindful step, each mindful sip of tea is a seed of peace. Tend to them every day, and you'll grow an inner garden that no storm can destroy. In the next part, we'll explore how compassion toward yourself and others can deepen this inner peace and turn it into a source of genuine happiness. Compassion, the heart of inner peace. Thich Nhat Hanh taught that true peace is not just the absence of stress or conflict, it is the presence of compassion. Without compassion, our inner calm can easily become fragile, shaken, the moment someone hurts us or life feels unfair. With compassion, peace becomes strong and unshakable because it's rooted in understanding. I learned this the hard way. There was a time when I thought inner peace meant keeping my distance from anything or anyone that might disturb me. I avoided difficult conversations, turned away from the news, and kept people's struggles at arm's length. It felt safer. But deep down, I wasn't peaceful. I was just hiding. Thich Nhat Hanh showed me a different way. He said, compassion is a verb. It's not passive. It's an active choice to see and respond to suffering, including our own, with kindness instead of judgment. The more I practiced this, the more I realized compassion doesn't drain us. It refuels us. One powerful practice he taught is deep listening. This means listening to someone without interrupting, without preparing your response, and without trying to fix them. You simply offer your full presence, like a safe harbor where their pain can rest. I once did this for a friend who was going through a divorce. I didn't offer advice. I just listened. By the end, she told me she felt lighter, not because I had solved anything, but because she felt understood. American teacher Jack Kornfield often reminds his students that compassion starts with ourselves. Many of us are our own harshest critics. Practicing self-compassion, speaking to ourselves with the same care we'd give to a dear friend, isn't self-indulgence. It's the foundation for being able to offer genuine kindness to others. Science supports this. Research from the University of Wisconsin shows that compassion meditation can actually change the brain, increasing activity in areas linked to empathy and emotional regulation. This means we can literally train ourselves to be more understanding and less reactive. A simple way to start is with the metta, loving kindness meditation. May I be safe. May I be healthy. May I live with ease. Once you've repeated these for yourself, you extend them to someone you love, then to a neutral person, then to someone you find difficult. Over time, this practice softens the heart and makes it easier to maintain peace even in challenging moments. Compassion doesn't mean we never set boundaries or protect ourselves. It means we respond from the heart, not from fear or anger. And when compassion becomes a habit, peace stops being something fragile you have to protect. It becomes something strong enough to share. In the next part, we'll look at how letting go of grudges, of control, of old stories can clear the space for even deeper happiness and freedom within. Letting go, making space for peace. Thich Nhat Hanh often said, "Letting go gives us freedom, and freedom is the only condition for happiness." It's a simple truth, but not always an easy practice. Many of us carry heavy loads, old grudges, regrets, expectations that quietly weigh us down. We think holding on gives us control, but often it's the very thing keeping us from feeling free. I once held on to anger towards someone who had betrayed my trust. Even years later, I would replay the situation in my head, imagining what I should have said or done. On the surface, I told myself I had moved on. But inside, that story was still like a background program, draining my energy. It wasn't until I began practicing mindfulness that I saw how much space that resentment was taking up in my heart. Thich Nhat Hanh teaches that letting go doesn't mean forgetting or pretending harm never happened. It means loosening our grip on the story so it no longer controls us. When we stop feeding the anger with our attention, it naturally begins to soften. American mindfulness teacher Sharon Salzberg shares a similar perspective. She reminds her students that forgiveness is not about excusing harmful behavior. It's about freeing ourselves from the endless loop of pain. Forgiveness is a gift we give ourselves. One way to begin is through the breath. When painful thoughts or memories arise, acknowledge them gently. This is hurt. This is disappointment. This is fear. And then imagine exhaling them out, like releasing a handful of sand into the wind. This doesn't erase the memory, but it helps the emotional charge dissolve over time. Science supports the benefits of this practice. Studies from Stanford University show that forgiveness exercises can lower blood pressure, reduce anxiety, and improve overall mental well-being. Letting go is not just an emotional act, it's a physical release. Letting go can also mean releasing the need to control how life unfolds. Thich Nhat Hanh taught that clinging to a fixed idea of how things should be often blinds us to the beauty of how they are. When we relax our grip, we make space for surprise, joy, and new possibilities to enter. This doesn't happen overnight. Letting go is like peeling away layers, sometimes slowly, sometimes all at once. But each layer you release creates more space for peace to grow. And with every breath, you remind yourself, I don't have to carry this anymore. In the next part, we'll explore how living with gratitude transforms not only our happiness, but also the way we see the world around us. Gratitude. Seeing the richness already here. Thich Nhat Hanh taught that the greatest miracle is to walk on the earth. Gratitude is what allows us to see that miracle. Not someday, but now. It shifts our focus from what's missing to what's already here, from what's wrong to what's quietly beautiful. And when gratitude becomes a daily practice, peace and happiness stop feeling distant. They become part of our everyday breath. For much of my life, I thought gratitude was something you felt only when something big happened, a promotion, a vacation, a lucky break. But I've learned through mindfulness practice that the richest gratitude comes from the small and ordinary. The sound of rain on the roof, the way sunlight touches the kitchen counter, a friend's unexpected text just to say hello. American mindfulness teacher Jack Kornfield often tells his students that gratitude is not about denying life's difficulties. It's about remembering that beauty still exists alongside them. Even in a hard season, there are small gifts to notice if we look. One practice I learned from Thich Nhat Hanh is beginning the day with a simple recognition. I have woken up today. I have 24 brand new hours to live. It's a reminder that just being alive is already a precious opportunity. Science shows this isn't just a nice idea. Research from the University of California, Davis found that people who kept a daily gratitude journal reported higher levels of happiness, better sleep, and lower stress. Gratitude literally rewires the brain to notice more of what's good. You can start small. Each evening, write down 3 things you're grateful for, not just general blessings like family or health, but specific moments from the day. Maybe it's the taste of your morning coffee, a stranger holding the door for you, or the quiet comfort of your own bed. Over time, you'll start noticing more moments as they happen. Gratitude also deepens our relationships. When we thank people sincerely, not out of habit, but from the heart, we let them know they matter. Thich Nhat Hanh encouraged his students to speak gratitude aloud, to tell a friend, "I appreciate your kindness," or a coworker, "Your help made my day easier." These small acknowledgments are like drops of water that keep the flowers of connection alive. When gratitude becomes second nature, we stop rushing past life. We see its richness, not just in grand achievements, but in the quiet, overlooked moments that make up most of our days. And in that shift, happiness becomes less about what we gain and more about what we see. In the final part, we'll bring all of these threads together, showing how peace and happiness, once cultivated within, can become a way of living and a gift we offer to the world, with an invitation to continue this journey through the Mindfulness channel. Living from the inside out. When we put all these pieces together, mindfulness in daily moments, compassion, letting go, and gratitude, we begin to see what Thich Nhat Hanh meant when he said, "Peace in oneself, peace in the world." Inner peace and happiness aren't just personal treasures. They naturally ripple outward, touching everyone we meet. Living from the inside out means we no longer wait for perfect circumstances to feel whole. We carry our own stability into each situation. We meet stress with breathing, conflict with understanding, and ordinary moments with appreciation. The world may still bring storms, but we walk through them with an anchor in our heart. American teachers like Sharon Salzberg and John Kabat-Zinn remind us that this is not about becoming detached or withdrawn. On the contrary, the more grounded we are inside, the more present and engaged we can be with life. We can work, love, and serve without burning out, because we are drawing from a well that doesn't run dry. I've seen this shift in my own life. Challenges still come, plans fall apart, people misunderstand, losses happen, but they no longer define me. The practice of mindfulness, compassion, letting go, and gratitude has given me a place to return to, again and again, no matter what the day brings. This is the real gift of building peace and happiness from within. It doesn't just change how we live, it changes what we give. We start offering patience instead of irritation, understanding instead of judgment, and love instead of fear. Over time, these choices shape not only our lives, but the lives around us. And this is what we continue to explore here at Mindfulness. Practical, heart-centered ways to nurture the inner conditions for peace and joy so we can bring them into the world. If you found even one practice in this series that speaks to you, I invite you to keep walking this path with us. Because when we cultivate peace inside, we're helping to build a more peaceful world. One breath, one step, one moment at a time.